On the other side of the ball, it's Lamar Jackson. Anthony Walker talked about Lamar Jackson, the Ravens offense, and what the Browns need to do better than they did in that first game.
He's always been a good passer. Y'all not going to get me. He's always been a good passer. Obviously, being a dual threat quarterback, he's been able to use his feet when he needs to, get out the pocket, make some big plays, throwing on the run and all that stuff. So he's always been a great quarterback to me. I'm biased. I'm from same area, so he's always been a good quarterback. Being able to make every throw, and then being able to use his feet to be a dual threat quarterback.
The way they spread out, they use a lot of three receivers under this coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of loosens up the tackle box. Is that one of the reasons the running game is so effective?
Yeah, for sure. When you're able to have some dynamic receivers outside, that kind of, you got to put your attention to a little bit more. Like you said, lightens up the box. And that's a huge part of their success. You're able to outnumber in the run game, and always when you add Lamar, that's playing 11-on-11 football. So that makes it a little tougher to defend.
When you look at the film of that first game, are they easy corrections to make as you prepare to meet them again?
We just got to execute better, whether it's corrections or, just being, like I said, fundamentally sound and doing what we do better. That's just what it has to be. We got to do a much better job this game than we did the first game.
Tim, I think at the end there what he's saying is the Browns defense just didn't play well. And I can't necessarily argue with that. They didn't give up a lot of yardage against the Ravens. Gave up 2 long drives, 2 short fields. But the bars, it's a different grading scale for this defense. That we expect more out of them because, quite frankly, they've been pretty good.
I do want to give Lamar Jackson a lot of credit. I thought, in that game, in that Week 4 game, he was sensational. I mean, some of the throws he had, including, I think it was that touchdown, I believe it was to Mark Andrews at the end of the first half. That's a world-class throw. I mean, sometimes, again, guys just beat you, and I feel like in that game, Lamar Jackson simply just beat the Browns in that game. So I think with this rematch, I would imagine, there's got to be a little more emphasis for the Browns on winning that line of scrimmage defensively, because when you talk about lighter boxes, 3 receivers, 4 receivers, and then running in the middle of that, it still comes down to, can you neutralize that offensive line with your defensive front? And obviously the Browns, they're getting great play out of that defensive tackle position. Dalvin Tomlinson had that amazing game against the Cardinals. Jordan Elliott seems like he's having quite the year in a contract year. Shelby Harris has been quite the addition to the interior. They're getting to play, I think, you want out of the interior of that defensive line, but this is the time to turn it loose and for those guys to, absolutely dominate, because as Trevor Sycamore you had on earlier was talking about, just the way that Ravens offensive line plays, you have to try and make that at best, at worst, a neutral, so that they're not dominant, because it felt like in that first game Baltimore's offensive line was just having its way with Cleveland's defensive front.